This is Gary at A3 Auto and Restoration. Today we have put a motor in a 98 Chevrolet 1500 series truck. It is a 350 engine, and anytime you have a problem with putting a motor in, or intake issue, intake leaking, or whatever, you have to pull that distributor. Well, when you do pull the distributor, you end up with a cam correlation code. And unfortunately, it's not like the old school where you can just kind of set it by ear, just look at the timing mark and set it. It has a cam sensor that triggers the crank sensor, and they work hand in hand to tell where the valve timing is. So to make this work, the computer dictates where the actual fire is. So to figure that out, and this is a good tech video if you're having a problem with your distributor failing, or you're having a misfire, or you just have a check engine light and it has a P1345 cam correlation code. This is a good video to follow on how to fix that problem. So what we did was we installed a brand new motor. The customer come in, complained of a motor knocking. Motor was seized up, and we ended up putting a new 350, new crate motor 350 in it. So one of my lead techs here, we ended up putting the motor in, and we're just trying to explain the 1345 code. So to start the initial on this, what he done was you take your balancer, and just like the old school, it has a line on the balancer. On the timing covers, it has a V. Some of them has a V where you put the timing mark in the V, or some of them has, depending on the timing cover, you can still get a metal timing cover real early years, but then in the later years they were plastic, and I'm not sure if it was 97, 98, I'm not sure on the years. Don't correct me, I don't know. But I have seen both. And so that timing mark will go in that to zero. It'll be zero on the balancer. And then once you have it zeroed on the balancer, then you'll pull the number one spark plug, which is right here. You'll pull that spark plug. And then how I like to do it is you take a small screwdriver and you'll put it in the hole, and right there in the spark plug hole, and you'll take a ratchet and you'll turn that balancer left and right. And you'll feel that piston come up or down just a little. And if it's coming up or down just a little bit, you can actually feel that screwdriver actually stop. And where it stopped, that is 100% top dead center. Now, if you're building a motor, you should degree the cam and you'll know where top dead center is. So you mark it when you're building the engine. But unfortunately, we didn't build this. We got it out of a crate box, so we don't really know where the piston was at. So to verify, we start over when we're top dead center. Then we put the distributor in exactly like it was in the old days. You drop it in with the rotor button, the magnet part of the rotor button, actually talking to number one cylinder. So it's actually going to start firing on number one cylinder. So when you get that in there and you drop the distributor in the hole and you get it towards number one cylinder, you're halfway finished. Now you can button up the distributor area, you can put the plug wires on and make sure they've got the right sequence, put the plug back in number one hole, and you're pretty much set for that to that point. Then you should be able to hit the key. It should fire up and run. After the engine's warm and you get the intake, make sure if you put an intake or whatever, you don't have a leak, or you don't have fuel leaking or anything that's dangerous where you're over top of the motor, making sure everything's no wires is pinched or anything, and it's running and it's stable. At that point, you can do part two of the cam correlation. So that would have to be done with a scan tool. And to do that, I'm going to let my lead technician explain that, and let him be able to explain how he got to this point, with the cam correlation.
So jumping off from what Gary was saying, I will go ahead and show you properly on the computer, step by step, how to fine-tune timing the motor, and so that way we could be done with this. So first things first, you're going to need a handy-dandy fancy scanner, so that way you can have specific values shown on the computer so you can do the fine-tune timing. Luckily here I have my own Autel that will tell me specifically what I need to see to be able to do this. And after you get the vehicle information and put it in the computer, you can then go to the control unit, and by there you can see the powertrain, and you're going to want to look at the live data. You'll see the engine data, and that will pull up a whole list of things for you to see that the engine is doing. And you'll need to see specifically the engine speed data. And if you scroll down, you will need to see the CMP, or the camshaft position retard data. And you'll select show what I selected. And I'll go ahead and blow these up a little bit so that way they're easier to see. And if my associate will start the truck, the computer starts to show you live data. So right here, you'll be able to see up-to-date RPMs, and right here, you'll be able to see up-to-date timing. Now, in order to set this properly, the engine, the RPMs have to be above 1,000 RPM in order for the CMP to kick in for you to see what degree it's at. So, I'm gonna have my other associate hold above 1,000, and prior to this video, we had already set the timing, so it's gonna be 0, and that's where you want it to be, because if it wasn't at 0, it would start to run funny, it'll crossfire, it'll crackle and pop, which is what you'll end up hearing after you install a motor like this without setting time.
Josh.
So if you see here, we purposely moved the distributor out of time so you can see that it is currently at 45 degrees out of time. Now all we need to do is, while I keep the RPMs above 1,000, I'm going to have my coworker turn the distributor back so we can adjust this 45 down to 0. See, after adjusting the distributor in the right direction, we had went ahead and got the distributor degrees down to 0, which means it is on point. So when all is said and done for setting the timing on the distributor, you should be within a 4-degree window. It can be no less than -2 degrees and no more than 2 degrees in terms of timing. And with all being said, we had finished with setting the timing correct on our 98 Silverado and had finished dealing with the P1345 code.
Thank you guys for tuning in this week on A3 Auto's tutorial on this 98 Chevy Silverado. We will be doing videos every week, so feel free to like and subscribe for all the videos that we plan on doing in the future. We do like to cover the more obtuse things with these kinds of vehicles, just because when you look them up, there's not that many videos around. But don't worry, A3 Auto's here to help. Don't forget to like and subscribe.